Well, hi, Jennifer, and hi, everyone who is with us. I am absolutely delighted to be sharing this case study discussion with my client, Jennifer, and her German Shepherd, Bella, and we are going to be talking about their journey with us with the Way of Life method. So, thank you so much, Jen, for agreeing to talk to us
My pleasure.
about your life before and then your journey with the method, and then where things are now. So, Jen, why don't you tell us and tell our audience a little bit about you, your family, your experience with dogs, and then lead us into Bella.
Well, it's me and my parents. I grew up with dogs pretty much. We got our first dog. I was maybe 5 years old. And we had dogs ever since. Once that dog passed, we got another one from the shelter, and so I've grown up with dogs my whole life. We've never with Bella was the first time that I ever experienced training and things like that. We never really did that with our other dogs, um, and experienced different challenges that we never did with our other dogs.
Right.
But yeah, we grew up with dogs in my entire life. So it was I've always loved dogs. I've always carried them in my heart, and then I got Bella 5 years ago. She's five now, and
Tell us a bit about her.
she's well, like you said, she's a German Shepherd. As you've called her before, a powerhouse. She's a
Yes.
big 70-pound German Shepherd, very strong. Um, she was very, very timid, very shy as a puppy. She didn't And now that I look back on it, like when I would go out for walks or when I would bring her I started bringing her to the dog park. She was maybe 4 or 5 months, so she was
Right.
pretty young. And when I look back at it, like I can see the stress in her from being there and from all the different things I was doing with her, and I can see her the way she was, like asking me to leave, and me just not
Yes.
seeing it, not listening, and I can see all these things looking back on it, and she as she got older, I've started noticing more and more stress, more and more tension, and
How did that manifest? How did that show
um,
up?
the first thing I started noticing is that she started barking at people and being and not aggressive, but like she
Reactive is the word we're
reactive is what I was looking
using.
for. Yeah, she
Yeah,
started
that
being
umbrella
reactive.
term that we're using.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Uh, Not overly so, not biting or anything, just barking, and so that was kind of the first signs, and then it kind of slowly progressed and got worse. And then in she was almost a year, I think, at this point. I had taken her out off leash. I had her off leash. I was walking in the woods on a path, and she saw people up ahead, and she took off and she bit one of them.
Hmm.
I was very lucky. It wasn't a bad bite. It didn't require a trip to the hospital or anything. Uh,
Yes.
and she didn't press charges or call the police or anything. So I was very, very
That's
fortunate.
good. Yes, you were.
Um, and so that really traumatized me. Like that was the first time I've ever experienced anything like that before.
Yeah,
Um, and I mean, still to this day, like it kind of still sticks with me at times. But
I'm sure.
and then and at that point, actually, I was seeing a trainer when that occurred. Uh,
Okay.
and it wasn't too long after that I actually left her and switched to another one. Um,
Yeah. Tell me a bit more about those trainers and about the
um,
work that you did.
so this particular one that I was seeing, she was uh, positive, well, she called it positive reinforcement. A
Yeah.
lot of treating, a lot of go to your place and bringing her around animals and stuff like that,
Yes.
um and treating her for not reacting and stuff like that. And in the
Yes.
beginning, it seemed didn't seem too bad, and it kind of seemed to be working. And then when this happened, and I called and I talked to her, and I told her about it, she kind of basically told me, "I told you so," which really rubbed me the wrong way.
I
Uh,
told you what?
well, because she had said, like, with knowing Bella, like she was still young and she wasn't lunging at anybody or anything like that, but she had told me, like, once she starts maturing and getting older,
Mm.
she could start realizing like her potential and what she could do, and
Yeah.
she could possibly, lunge at somebody or even bite somebody.
Yes.
Um, which, but I still had her off leash,
Hmm.
which I shouldn't have, and I told her, and she didn't say I told you so, but what she said and her reaction was kind of
Felt that way.
felt that way, yeah.
Yes.
And then not too long after that, during one of our training sessions, she had told me that the only way that I would be able to have Bella off leash, um, and have her listen, was to use either a prong or shock collar,
Hmm.
um, which I did not want to do. I do not
Hmm.
like or agree with those at all. So that actually upset me quite a bit, because I want her to have the freedom and have her off leash, but not at that expense.
Yes.
Um,
And you felt that these were the only tools available, positive reinforcement training or collars and
yeah,
tools.
basically. And
Yes.
I wasn't gonna go with the collars. There was no way. I was
Hmm.
determined to find another way. Um,
Yes.
so after our session, because we had I think it was a 6 month contract or something to that effect.
Hmm.
Once it was done, I didn't go back to her, and I started going to see another girl. And she would come to the house, and she would basically ignore Bella. She would just sit there. And it was a lot of, like, I would sit in a room with people, and I would have her with me, and she was checking with me. It was actually a lot like grounding.
Hmm.
Um, and she was pretty good, but then at one point, like, I just couldn't get in contact with her anymore.
Oh,
I was
wow.
sending her emails and stuff, and I was never hearing back from her.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that kind of ended there. So,
All right.
and it wasn't too long after that, that I found your book. When I was on
Mhm.
Amazon, I was actually looking for another book, a particular book that my mom had bought me. I was looking to see if that author had written other books, and
Okay. Interesting.
I saw The Way of Life. Um, so I decided to look into it, and it spoke a lot to me because it addressed the one thing that I always wanted to address, which was my relationship with Bella.
Yeah.
That was It was lacking. Like, I didn't have one. I didn't have
Right.
a connection with her, which is what I really wanted. You know,
Yes. How did it feel to not have it?
it felt it felt horrible, and like there were times where I was actually nervous going, like, with her, because there was a few times, not a lot, but a few times where I would go to pet her and she'd growl at me or snap at me.
Hmm.
Got to the point where I at times was actually nervous to go up to her.
Of
And
course.
to be honest, there was a couple nights that I cried myself to sleep because I was upset that I was at this point with her.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not
very painful.
it is. It's never what I imagined having a dog to be like.
Right.
It's not what I wanted.
Yes.
So when I found your book and saw that it addressed that, it was like, right away I was like, okay, I gotta look into this.
Terrific. And then you reached out
Yeah.
and we spoke and
Yeah.
we started working together remotely.
Yeah.
And then we met for in person. We did privates. You were able to come to our group classes.
Yeah.
So as we started to work together and we started to coach you on applying the method with Bella, what is it that felt new, felt different, made you realize certain things about living with dogs, living with a powerful dog like Bella, who reminds me a lot of my girl Maya, who was also a big, powerful dog that I also didn't feel trusted me, and I didn't trust her either. It was very painful to have your best friend be alienated from you like that. I saw a lot of myself in your situation. But as we started to coach you on the method and you started to live differently, what were some of the things that you realized at the time?
Uh, well, the main thing I realized was that she did not trust me at all. And like I said, looking back, I can totally understand why. Everything that I
Right.
went through and that I did with her,
Yeah.
she
Now
didn't
it
trust
made
that.
sense.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was just happening to you. It was something that couldn't but happen
Yeah.
in light of some of the things that and you're not alone in doing some of those things. They're embedded in the culture, right? This whole idea about socializing and
Mm. Yeah.
dog parks and things of that nature. No one can be faulted
Yeah.
for following what the culture says to do. If anything, people who are very dedicated follow this advice to the letter because they want to be, good owners and good guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you started to do things a little bit differently. What was your experience at the time, those early days with the method?
Um, they were difficult, especially the mindset, changing the mindset, because it was very different and focusing like all the other trainings, they start off bang right away. You're focusing on training, sit, stay, look
Yes.
around. Whereas this
Correct.
one was very much like the first step is the bond, is fixing the bond, is fixing the relationship. And then
Yeah.
so that was also a big difference and
Did you feel some resistance to the idea? Did other family members, in particular Sue, your mother, who's also very much involved with Bella, did you feel some, moments of objections like yes, but or no, but or how did you feel
um
about this message that was very different? Did you embrace it right away or was there some resistance to it?
Not, well, for my mom, not for the method itself. It was more like, okay, here's another training thing. Like, is it actually gonna work? Like all the others, because
Yes,
we've done quite a bit up to this point. So,
right. Spent
um,
money, spent time, spent energy, had
yeah,
hopes, and then the hopes were dashed. Of
yeah,
course, resistance would be normal, objections would be normal. This is
yeah,
where people start to give up on their dogs because they're thinking, well, this method didn't work and this method didn't work. Must be something wrong with the dog.
yeah,
Meanwhile, let's question the methods before we question the dog.
yeah, yeah. And that was a big thing. Like, I didn't want to get to the point where I had to give her up. I wanted something like something to help me so that that wouldn't happen. And that had actually entered my mind before the way of life a couple of times. But I never got to that point. I'd never and I never wanted to have to give her up because I couldn't handle it or because I couldn't or because she attacked somebody and I had to put her down or anything like that. Like, I don't want.
Yes.
So
I'm
I
so
was
glad.
very thankful that I found the way of life
I'm
to,
so glad it never came to that. So
yeah, me
glad.
too.
What were some challenges in the early going applying the method? One of the challenges you said, for example, was the shift in mindset,
Hmm.
right? What else was challenging at the time?
Um, the in the beginning, the crate time was a little challenging, having her in the crate so much and not with us.
Yeah.
But it wasn't long before, like, I realize that. Well, actually, it took a while in the beginning to kind of find the right crate. Like at first, we were just using an X pen kind of thing.
Yes.
Um, and then we actually got like an actual crate after. But when I saw the difference that it made, and the benefits of it, like it changed everything. Like having her in.
What was the difference that it made that you were noticing those early changes?
um that it was calming her, like it was her place to like bark and freak out, and I just let her get it all out.
Yes.
um, and she was doing that less. Like she was never in the X pen. She would bark and she would freak out. And it was an issue for a while, but once getting the actual crate, like I kind of saw her come down from that and
Yes.
get more calm. And she's never had a problem going in the crate. Like I've never had an issue getting her in. She always goes. I mean, since she was a puppy, she's gone in very easily. Um, but uh, seeing her, yeah, just calming down and going in there and just relaxing and
Good.
decompressing.
Good. And eventually you guys built your outdoor kennel as well,
Yeah,
which she really enjoyed.
yeah.
And then how did that change now your walks and being out in the world with her?
Well, applying the method and doing all of that, it definitely made her a little less reactive. There is still work to do on that, but
Yes.
like before we moved and before all that, I mean, before I didn't get close to people. I had a big distance. If I saw somebody coming on the street, I was like on the other side of the street and keeping my distance from people, from dogs, from everybody. But it
Yes.
got to a point back when I was in Quebec before the move where like I would take her through parking lots and walk through the parking lots. And I mean, I was walking like, a couple of feet from people at certain points. And, she was looking at me and she was doing really well. So it was getting to a point where I didn't have to be as stressed being around, being closer to people.
Terrific. That's huge.
Yeah.
That is huge. How would you describe things now with Bella?
Um, Better than when we first got here. I found, like I had mentioned with the move and the stress and everything, that she had, both of us, not just her, we had both regressed a little bit. I had kind of loosened the reins, so to speak, a little bit.
Yes.
Um, and I found that she did get backtrack a bit and get a bit more reactive than she used to be.
Yeah.
But
But now you know how to get things back in order.
yeah, yeah. Which I have been. And I find that with the little dog on the corner that I was telling you about in one of our sessions,
Yes.
she's getting much better with that dog. Most of the
Excellent.
time, there has been a couple times where specifically when the little dog is down on the property and is about, I would say maybe 8 feet, 7, 8 feet from us, that she'll like she won't lunge. She'll like kind of go towards him a little bit, maybe pull a little bit. But for the most part, when we walk by, she'll look and her hair will go up, her hackles will go up a little bit, but she'll continue walking. And she
Good.
doesn't, most of the time now, she won't freak out and bark. And so she's doing much better with the little dog.
Terrific. What
And
else would you describe as going well with her?
actually, we had an experience a week or two ago. Um, a big difference here in Nova Scotia with Quebec. In Quebec, um, everyone is kind of in their own bubble. They do their own thing. They ignore everybody else. It's whereas here, especially in a small community like this, everybody is super. Everybody says hi to everybody. Everybody, it's Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. So you're out
Right.
walking and you got people, hi, good morning, hi. And one thing that Bella really struggled with was when somebody would talk to me,
Yes.
it was like barking and like and lunging. I remember in Quebec, we were taking a walk once and we passed by this guy that I used to go to school with, and he was like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And she was like barking, and I had to hold her back. And we were out walking a week or two ago, and we passed by this gentleman, and he's like, "Oh, beautiful dog," and then he was introduced himself and asking, how long we've been there and stuff like that, and he was on the other side of the street, and my mom was beside him, and I was on the other side with Bella, and she didn't bark at him, she didn't lunge at him, she looked at him a few times but look back at me. And so that right there is a huge improvement. Somebody talking to me
Terrific.
and making eye contact with me, and she's not barking or lunging at him is huge because that's
That's
going
wonderful.
to set her off.
Perfect. Yes. And we talk about that in the community, right? We talk about how if I'm talking to someone in the mind of the dog, that constitutes an interaction that they may not be ready for or willing to engage in. So the fact that they would defer to you and let you interact with the world without,
Hmm.
throwing their opinion,
Yeah.
tells us a lot about how far they've come in terms of socialization, stability, relationship, trust, deferring to you, maintaining their boundaries and not interfering with our, interactions with others is terrific and tells you how far she's come. What are some areas that you feel you still would want to work on with her?
Um, I mean, definitely, we're still kind of working on boundaries. She's gotten a lot better, but still working on the threshold and the boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Um, I definitely want to start bringing her out. Like I've walked her a lot around our little town in that, but I want to start bringing. And I have brought her out to the bigger town more than once, but kept her in the
Mm-hmm.
crate in the car.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to start upping the challenge and bringing her to the big city, to the big town, but taking her out in certain places and starting to expose her to more stuff uh,
Good.
and more people and places and stuff like that to
Which now you have the foundation that will allow you to do that.
yeah.
Terrific, Jen. So,
Mhm.
last question. I want to take you back to those early days working with one trainer and then working with another. The frustrations that you felt at the time. Did you feel that it was possible to be in this place with Bella, judging from where you started?
Back then, no. I got to a place where I was very, very discouraged and I honestly wasn't sure what I was going to do next and wasn't sure if I was even going to be able to keep her, if something was going to
Yeah,
happen and I was going to have to put her down, or if it was going to get too
yeah,
much and I was going to have to give her up. And yeah, it was, yeah, I was very discouraged and I did not think that, I did not think 5 years later that I would still have her, that
yes.
I would be at this point.
It's inevitable that when we have a powerful dog that we're struggling with, how can it not cross our minds to rehome the dog, to euthanize the dog, to
Mhm.
or in other cases to lead a very small limited existence with that dog that we can't do things with, can't go places with because of their behavior and the lack of relationship between us and them. So I am so happy for you, Jen, and I'm so honored that you continue to be in our academy and community so that we can continue the work with
Mhm.
Bella. When there's a big move, such as the move that your family has recently experienced, it's normal for some things to take a bit of a back seat, but now hopefully that you're more settled, we can continue to do the work of challenging her and challenging your bond and continuing on this terrific journey that you've been on. So thanks so much for talking to us, Jennifer. I
Oh, you're
so
very
appreciate
welcome.
it.
I appreciate all the help that you've given us and that we've gotten this far. I mean, just the fact that one big thing too is that before, so I have a niece and a nephew,
Yes.
and before. like Bella was always in her crate in the basement whenever the came
Yes,
over. And it, I mean, I dreamed for the day that I'd be able to have her with us as
with
we were
family.
over and interacting.
Yes,
And I did not think that was possible because my nephew was terrified of her. He did not want her in the same room as him. He wanted her very, very far away. And so I did not think that was ever going to be possible. But now, like when they're over, I'll have her in the living room. She'll be sitting on her cushion, and I have her with us, and it's wonderful to have her there and real chilling on her cushion while
that's
we're doing
terrific.
our thing.
That
And
is terrific. To be
I'm
able
almost
to
to the point where
integrate them into our life with family.
yeah, so it's
Yes,
wonderful to be able to do that now. That was a big thing.
so great. So glad you remembered it because that is a huge deal. And I do remember a while back when we were coaching more directly and more actively how you wanted to go visit your sister and see your niece and nephew, right?
Hmm.
Niece and nephew, and that you were concerned about whether she could come along and where would you have her? And I'm so glad that now you all live near each other and that Bella is very much part of your family life. That is terrific.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. Well, thank you again so much, Jen.
My pleasure.